Hello everyone, it's Lady Shatana. Thanks for coming to hang out with me while I talk about creating and how the mind of a Minecolonies designer works, or at least this particular Minecolonies designer, while creating all of the cool things that you need to make colonies in Minecolonies, which I still say is the best mod to ever hit Minecraft. On the last episode we talked about huts and the default huts, the basic buildings that you use for the style and the ways that I had to make those. And this time we're going to talk about infrastructure and maybe some other things. We'll see what we get to. So the main thing with Cavern is the infrastructure. So the halls and the connectors and the intersections. And I originally created the base items, so the main intersection and the main connector and the main hall, and that's what was in the style. You dug this out, you built this, and that was it. That's how it worked. It didn't have the stairs down. It didn't have any of that sort of thing. It was just the three pieces, the three boxes, and you built from there. A lot of trial and error even creating those while I decided how big everything was going to be, how it was going to connect, whether you were going to overlap, some basic design of that. I was then asked to do sort of starter versions that would be a lot faster to be able to get into building. So I came up with, I believe it was these ones was the next, where it was just basically placeholders, letting everything just be with the hole in the middle. And so the idea was that you built these, and then when you were ready, you just built the full-size versions on top of the same spot, and it would then dig everything out and build the other things. I was then asked if I could do an upgradable version when the decoration controllers came into the mod. And so I had come up with yet another version where you built the first stage, or the first level, that just built this bottom part and with all kinds of placeholders, and then when you upgraded it, it upgraded it to the full version, opening everything up. So I did that, but I was never super happy with how these actually worked out. And there was a stair, a stacking staircase originally that you could build instead of the regular intersection. You built the stacking staircases, and I thought they were okay, but I wasn't. They weren't my favorite. I built them just to have them, and I still keep the pieces over there just in case I ever decide to do anything with them again. But yeah, I wasn't super thrilled with it. And then we had some changes where I was trying to add rail systems into Cavern. Everybody else was putting in rail systems where the colonists could use the minecarts and stuff. And so I built this whole section of the downstairs, the lower floors, and I made this whole thing. I made it all where it fit, and everything was nice, and it was smaller. And then I tested it, and the colonists completely ignored the rail systems. And it was like, what the heck, man? Like, why are you ignoring all the rail systems? I built these and they're for you, and you don't like them? Why do you not like them? And it turned out that because Cavern is all straight lines and already very efficient when it comes to pathfinding, that it wasn't actually easier or better for the colonists to go downstairs and get onto the rail system and then go back upstairs. It was actually just faster for them to just run without going downstairs. So I still did really like this lower section that I built, and I really wanted to use it because I had come up with a whole system of, you know, the stairs down and all that stuff. So that's why I made the change to having the whole set up with these new intersections with the stairs down in the lower areas, because I realized that the size I had made everything, we could put huts down there. We could put, you know, the alternative residence huts. We could put all kinds of different things down there. So that's why I made the change to include all of this new stuff in the actual pack. So then with the infrastructure, somebody asked me if I could do deep slate versions, because there was people that were building deep and really wanted the deep slate. I like deep slate, so I made deep slate versions and popped those in. So if you wanted to use those instead of the regular stone, you could absolutely do that. And then just recently, as you all know, I finally got around to building a narrow version of some of the infrastructure pieces. And with those, I really kind of had a lot of fun doing them. And when you look at them, they have a lot of those placeholders that say, don't worry about what's there, just leave it. So there's a lot more sort of real estate that you don't have to dig out. You just let it be and let the whole thing be a bit smaller. So then we've added that in. So over time, the infrastructure pieces have really had a lot of changes, from, you know, the basics to the upgradables to the starters to the narrows. So it really is a fact that you're never quite finished when you make a style, or at least with somebody like me. People, you know, make suggestions and things like that, and sometimes there are suggestions that just don't fit my personal vision of the style. So I may say, you know, thanks for that suggestion, but it's not something I'm really interested in doing. But generally, I do like to take those suggestions and see what I can maybe do with them. And then you got things like, these are the stair inserts. So if you build a intersection and you want to add a stair later, these are what you pop in. So things do look a little really quite interesting when you look at them, because I have to build the whole thing and then I kind of pull out the middle and then I see what how I'm going to make it work. So there's a lot of, as I said before, a lot of trial and error that goes into making these sorts of things and make them all fit. Because with Cavern, of course, I have to keep in mind everything I build, I have to make sure that I'm not destroying anything that I don't want to destroy. So like these, when you put the lower section, so this is lower intersection, when you put that in and when you build it, because it has the stairs down and everything, I have to make sure that it doesn't actually affect the existing intersection parts that I don't want it affecting. And then I've got these sections in between that you don't actually have to dig out and things. So lots of placeholders, so many, as you can see. Like, my style is a sea of placeholders, so many. So yeah, so that's kind of the history of the infrastructure of Cavern. So there you go. That's where we ended up, where we're at right now. So with that, I also, knowing that we had the town hall, that was the sort of the main entrance to the colony, I knew that there would be times when you sort of came out maybe in another part of the hill or something like that, and maybe would want some different gates. So I built these. There's a whole selection of different gates with different decorations and things like that. There's large ones, smaller ones. The large ones, and this is something that some people may not be aware of, the large ones, if you go upstairs into this section here, there's a door. And if you go in the door, there's a sign. And the Cavern Alt Guard Tower, or guard station, that was built to go into the lower caverns also fits in this space here. So you can pop this in and have another guard on the exterior of the colony when you put a gate in. So there you go. So if you didn't know that, there you go. There's something you now know. These lions were actually borrowed from another style. I believe it was pagoda. I had them originally. We designers do that that work, especially the ones that work on the server here, is we do take a lot of inspiration from other builders if we're having a bit of builder's block, and it's always with you know, with the permission of those other builders. So I would have gone to the builder of the original style and say, hey, are you okay if I use these parts? And so we had those, and then I came up with the small ones. So if you wanted a gate but you didn't want the big fancy one, there were some smaller ones. And of course you can always build your own thing. You can you know, build a hole out the side of the mountain and do your own thing, but it's nice to have some existing options if you decided to make something. So the other big thing with the original cavern style is that you had your halls and you put your huts in, and then you had to do something with those halls. You could leave them super boring, or you could use the facades. And the original facades were the stone ones. And the idea was that you could pop them in, and they just made things look a lot fancier. Generally for not too much in the way of materials, but you could really make your colony much more personalized with the different facades that you could do. And so I came up with a bunch of different ones that looked like they had different purposes. Some of them, so the single wides and the double wides, and you can mix and match. And then once I had the first set done, I duplicated them in different materials. So these ones, the stones, I just love them, the brown stone and the beige stone. And then somebody asked for deep slate, so I made a deep slate version. And somebody else asked for black stone, so I made a black stone version, much fancier. There is actually there was a player who took my my facade set and changed them into prismarine, so it's all prismarine and fancy. And I don't actually have them in here; they're not in the official style, but you can download the set from my guides website. So so there was that. So if somebody was to make a set that they wanted to share, I am more than happy to put it up on my guides website so that other people have access to it. So there are a total of, I believe it's 70 different facades altogether that you can really make a colony look totally different from anybody else's just by how you do your facades. So there was that. I was really proud of that particular setup when I came up with that, and eventually I'm sure I'll add more facades and things like that, but there's always something new to work on with that. This over here, you may be wondering what these are, because Cavern doesn't actually have quarries. The reason is that Cavern basically is a quarry, so I don't think that I need to dig any big holes in the ground, because that's literally what Cavern is. But I was playing around one day, and I thought that it would be neat to see about building a decoration to go over a completed quarry, just to make it look much nicer than just a hole in the ground. So I came up with these. They're not too expensive because leaves are free for builders. At least they are right now. Hopefully that will never change. Water blocks are free, and you do have to have some shrooms and things like that. But I thought this would be really neat just to put over there, and then it becomes a leisure site. And leisure sites are places that the colonists will go if they have nothing else to do. And oh, would you look at that? There is actually a piece missing over here. There should be. Yeah, look at that. So I found a little mistake while I was showing you guys around. So yeah, I just built these and I thought they were fun. And they are in my style, even though they don't really make a lot of sense. But if you didn't know they were there, and if you're building a different style type and wanted to make it look nice after your quarry was finished, there you go. Those are there. So there's those that I did when I was bored one day. These are the main gate decorations that fit into the front of the town hall. This one is the dock, and this one is just the courtyard. And they are built so that you can fit them into that space in the front of the town hall without actually affecting anything in the town hall. As I said, placeholders are my best friend. I have been thinking about maybe making a change to these, because I have the little huts on the outside, and I really like them. I really like the look of them, but they do make it really, really, really wide, and some people may not like that. So I might either change it or make another addition to it, where, like, for the dock, it's just like a single dock that you could build in wherever you wanted to make it work better for you. An idea I'm kind of kicking around to maybe do that. A lot of people will build their own docks, but these are ones that I've just put in there if you didn't want to design anything yourself. These are the workshops, and right now I've got 4 different versions of them. They're the ones that fit in the lower cavern areas, or the lower level. I've never decided what I'm going to call that. And that you fill with whatever you like. And this one's not too expensive because it's mostly those free leaves. And then this one was the extra fields. So if you decided you wanted to put in an additional farmer, or one of the default farmers, then this is a pre-made set of 4 fields you could use. So over time, as I get inspired, or as I get people asking for it, and I apparently did not turn my phone sound off before I started filming, but as people ask for things, or as I get ideas for things, I'll build more, and I'll probably just keep stacking them up to keep them out of the way. So, and then this is the corner of random things. This is another workshop that fits into the connectors, just sort of a plain empty player space. So it's in the player spaces section. And this was originally a portal room that I had created, and that was before we got the netherworker that comes with a portal. And I can't actually remember if this is still in the style. I'll have to actually check. Yeah, so I had built this, and you could just pop it in wherever you wanted. And these are the other fields, and this one was meant for trees, sort of a tree space for you to put that inside. I prefer the green space that goes into a connector, because I feel that this just took up a lot of space that was not entirely necessary. But it's there if people wanted them, and that was the original ideas for those. So that's this corner of things. And then over here is a lot of the decorations. So the basic decorations that can go anywhere, as well as the supply camp and ship. I was always really happy with the supply camp and ship and how they worked out. Mine are really quite large in comparison to some of the other ones, but also there are bigger ones, so I'm not the biggest. So yeah, because you have to have a supply camp and ship. And then these are random. So again, I know I'm an underground style, but I made this little boat because I wanted a boat to go next to my dock if I wanted to do a little boat. And I was quite happy with that. These go into intersections that can go just about anywhere. I call them my Zen statue. My sword statue, my corner knight, the seahorse that I came up with for, I believe I came up with it originally just for the alternative mystical site, and now I've used it a couple of other places. Some fancy trees to go into the intersections. I'm gonna have to double check because I know I built these ones, but I can't remember if they're actually in the style. So this section is a lot of that, where I kind of play with things and I build things, and then when I decide I'm done, I ask for them to be put in the style. But I may forget to do that if I don't think I'm done. So I'm gonna have to double check that. These are connector decorations that you plop into an empty connector. These are my aquariums that go into the intersections, and my kelp farms. And these are the plantation fields that I've talked about in my other series that can be used by the updated plantation farmer. And these ones aren't in yet. I'm still working on finishing them up. This is a double sugarcane field that goes into one side of a connector, and this is the ocean one that will have kelp and sea pickles and sea grass. So 3 different fields there, and I think it's pretty fancy, and I quite like it, but I'm not quite finished it yet, so it's not in the style yet. And then these were decorations that fit into the connectors. Just some random decor to go in there. And then there is the whole set of the statues that I believe are in the... what style did they get put in there? They're in the original Minecolonies style, I think. But they're in there somewhere. And this was the connector greens insert. Oh, pardon me, trying not to hiccup. The connector greens insert where you can plant some trees near where the forester is. So that's everything in this corner. And as I build new things, they go in here. Every once in a while, I'll be doing something random. I cannot recall who built this or why this got built, but I've never bothered to take it out. But I have reused the idea in Green Dragon, so when we get around to starting to look at Green Dragon, you'll see something that looks very similar to this. So that's this whole section. It's really big. Lots of pieces, lots of parts. I have to kind of remember where everything is. I tried to put down signs to remind myself what everything is, and yeah, so that's my build space for all of my decor and stuff like that. Over here is where what we'll talk about on the next one, where everything that is alternative and then into the mega halls gets built onto this side. So looking at remembering how much space the default huts took up, all the way over here, do that, all the way over here, and then the space of my decor and stuff and my infrastructure, and all of my alternatives and mega hall stuff goes all the way down here. So there's almost as much space for all of my alternatives as there is for the original halls. And that's because I'm insane. And because I love you guys. And because there's always something super new and cool. So as I had said in the first episode, like, Cavern is almost two completely separate styles. So it's a lot of buildings. It's a lot of buildings, but I've had so much fun. So much fun making all this. So yeah, I think that is gonna just about do it for today. So I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic day and that we see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye!